All right. I am back. My name is Justin Hickman. I'm with Vertispan. This is May 31st, 2023. This is the third time that I've tried to stream today. My internet provider, Xfinity, seems to not want me to stream today. It keeps disconnecting, having some outages. We're just going to try this the last time. For the YouTube audiences, I did record a couple other times, stream it a couple of other times, but I'm probably not going to copy those videos from Twitch to YouTube. So I'm just going to explain what I was doing whenever we last were here. All right, so basically, I was taking a look, to recap, I was taking a look at the MongoDB stuff in regards to all of the operators that it has. They have comparison query operators, and they also have logical query operators. So the comparison query operators is basically the field and the operator and some sort of value. Greater than or equal, greater than, they're all the same. They all contain the field, the operator itself, and some sort of value. Whereas the logical operators are going to be, the syntax is a little bit different, where the operator is on the left-hand side, just where the field was in the comparison query operators. Then they're followed by one or more expressions, and of course, this expression can either be a comparison query operator, such as an equals, or maybe another logical query operator. So I was in the process of trying to refactor the operator tree to divide between logical operators and comparison operators. So as you can see, let's just ignore the all. I'm going to be changing that at some point because there is an all operator that is specifically for arrays. So you have all, you have size, and they're all, these are all operator or array based, but I'm not going to worry about that one too much at the other time being. So eventually that one is probably going to go away. But for the logical, I started creating the AND operator because whenever we are creating a selector, there's an implicit AND between all of these others that we should take into consideration. And of course, we should be able to put in here and then something else. I haven't really figured out what I'm going to do with that. That one is going to be kind of weird for the other syntax, but I'm not going to worry about that one for right now. Indexes, on the other hand, something that we need to take consideration is that the indexes are probably not going to be able to handle some of these complex queries, these complex selectors of multiple ands and ors and things like that. I think in the other query planner, that's where all of that magic is going to take place. Where for the outermost selector, we're going to have probably deeply nested queries in there, but then the query planner has to break that apart into multiple simple queries and either union if it's an or situation, or a intersection if it's an and situation, to be able to run multiple selectors across the indexes. And they could actually be separate indexes. There's nothing that's preventing us from using, like, breaking this particular query down into smaller units that might hit different indexes. So that's something that we're going to take into consideration as well. For the in operator, I mentioned it earlier in the other stream, like the MongoDB, it only supports values, whereas I ended up supporting nested value operators or comparison operators. I might change this such that it's all just value based. That might be a little bit easier development wise. If we ever want to expand that later, we'll be able to. So I was in the middle of trying to swap out a list of operators because I decided that just with like the equals, greater than, all of them contain the field as part of the operator. I don't know if that's the right approach, but it at least encapsulates this entire block of junk as a single operator, just as these logical operators, oops, did not mean to click on that, where that consists of a collection of all of these other expressions. So it might be a little bit easier for me to encapsulate that. So for the creation, let's see, where was that? That's in the selector. So whenever I'm adding this value, you have a string for the field name and some sort of comparison operator. And all I do is set the field name back to the operator. That way we can actually have field then operator as two separate parameters. So the DSL, the language here is a little bit easier to follow, even though this value ends up getting shoved into that equals method or the object. I mean, I could do something in here where we do a static t equals EQ string field name and then some t value. In that particular case, we can probably overload this constructor to be able to pass the field name as part of it. And that would allow us to do something like some field and 32. But I don't know. This might be a little bit easier to view because then they're all going to be aligned, which might be a little bit easier to review in code. All right, so let's go ahead and close out the operator. Let's just make sure that all of this builds. All right, and I think the unit test is broken. As you can see, right now there is some broken tests. Most of these are the assertion errors on the result, and that's because I did comment out the entire filter here, so it's actually returning 1001 records instead of the one that we were expecting. Same with all of these, we were expecting 2 as a result, but we got every single record because we're not doing the subsequent filtering. And I'm wondering if I actually need to change this such that the selector is a little different, where we have a complex selector and a simple selector, because the indexes should really only support these simple selectors. So there shouldn't be any logical operators inside of it. So that might actually be a good idea. So what if in the selector we create a new simple selector? Maybe. Because this is just doing that. Yeah, I could probably do this because I do have a private constructor on it, and it's using a factory here. So a simple selector intended to be a smaller selector without any logical operators. And then our index could probably support taking on a simple selector instead of the other more complex selectors with logical operators. Because as I mentioned before, the query planner should be essentially the thing that does all of the unions and intersections of multiple queries. So this one, I'm just going to recreate a majority of this. I'm wondering if I should subclass it. I might subclass this. Simple selector. Extends selector. So some sort of data type. But I kind of want some sort of O extends operator. All right, so let's go ahead and change this out. That way we can actually limit the operator, and some of this probably needs to go. I might have to break this out into a simple abstract base class, and then have two selector subclasses as the simple and the other complex, because the simple selector needs to be only comparison operators. Comparison operator of D. So what's the other problem here? No default constructor. Alright, so this does need to call the super. Oh, it's because we can't. Alright, there we go. That way subclasses can be made. Alright, cool. So in that particular case, if we get operators, we actually need to change this to O. I guess we didn't do this in a way that allowed us to grab all of the operators. I might change that. So let's just go ahead and create this as abstract. Oh, and I do not know at this point if it's going to be a simple or a complex selector. I mean, I could just create a different factory method, one for create simple, create complex. But now it's almost like we need a builder pattern so that the builder would be able to build the appropriate type. I'm just trying to think of like how would that look over here, you know? mean, I guess I could always create this as an interface. Because I kind of need a builder pattern, a selector builder. I don't know. Because it could be very similar to what we did on the indexes, where we have the index builder, and then we build the index, and whenever you call create index, that's whenever it decides what type of index to construct based upon the other fields that you give it. We could probably do something similar where we change this to a builder, add all of our fields in there, and then it can just make the determination whether or not it's a simple selector or complex. So yeah, I should probably do that. I'm going to split this out. Of course, I do not care much for I don't care much for that. I should probably just have a base selector class. And this is going to have D and O extends operator. Implements selector. I know that it's a class right now, but I'm going to be changing it to an interface. Interface. And I will be creating a builder instead. And all of this stuff is going to have to go into the other base selector. Yeah, I know. Let's just move all of these imports. All right. Yeah, this song is very repetitive. Oh, this is not Colin. I don't think Colin's going to be streaming today. I think he's working on some projects. But I will stream as long as my internet supports it, and if Colin wants to jump in for anything, I'll switch over. But trying to get caught up on some of the work that I haven't been able to finish. I'll check in with Colin soon to see if he's changed his mind. Let's see. So all of these ads will probably be in the other builder. So let's just create a selector builder. All of these, yeah. I need to figure out which package to put these in. And then I'll probably just put the other build at the other very end. And this will make the determination of which type of builder it's going to, or selector it's going to return. And here we can do the add. A lot of this is just going to be busy work, just to do the full refactoring. Hopefully I don't break too much stuff. There we go. Of course, still don't have anything in the other build, so let me put a big to-do here. Implement. And that is now building, which is good. This side actually needs to be changed. Do builder and then build. And where are the other failures? Looks like it's just in these for right now. And this is implements. I actually need to extend base selector D and just operator. So this is really unnecessary. Get paths. That one's gonna be a real fun one, huh? Logical operator. For some reason, I don't think that's the right number of parens. It is not. Alright, so then get paths. Wait, what? So that is casting. That is calling that. Alright, so it just doesn't know what to do with that. And that's because we don't know what this is yet. That's just returning a list of operator. Which could be any operator. That should be correct, right? Can't I do that? No, it's because it needs to be of type O, which extends operator. Ugh. Sometimes generics annoy the crap out of me. I mean, technically that's an O. Oh wait, that's a list of... I need to change that. Yeah, we'll deal with that here in a little bit. Where's next? We have the simple selector. This is going to extend base selector. Of course, that just automatically implements the selector, so I don't really need to do that down here. Alright, so this isn't going to support any complex. This is only going to have comparison operators underneath, and this is going to assume an AND on the outside, just as any of these will. Because even if it has a simple operator and it's an OR, it's an OR ANDed with itself, right? Well, not with itself, but with nothing else. Let's see. Because I mean, that's basically the same thing. I mean, I don't really need to do anything special here. So wouldn't that work? Just ignoring the, just using a different parameterized type. Yeah, that could work. It's kind of silly to do it that way, but it'll work. I hate the generics in this. Alright, so the base selector is able to at least grab all of the other paths for that particular selector, even if it's a complex selector. Selector. Oh, I guess I need to pull that into the interface. So I am going to pull that here. There we go. And that compiles now. What is broken down here? Get outer selector, yeah. I guess in that particular case, I could just do get operators. So if I did a collection of operator, get operators. And then in the base selector, we can implement that. Can't I just be more specific? Yeah, because it's O extends operator. So I guess that's the other point. In the simple selector, we need to make sure that it returns a list of O. Boy. I really don't like this. I'm probably making it so much worse. Yeah, that's a different O though. It should be able to do that, right? I know it's going to complain. What is the unchecked? No, it's not going to complain. All right, so that gets our operators from the other selector. And does it build now? I care about building first. Then we can figure out if anything's failing, which it will because we're still not doing the other filtering. But I just want to make sure that we're not failing somewhere sooner, and we are. It's because we haven't figured out from the other builder what type of selector that we're using. All right, so in this particular case, we are wanting to how are we gonna do that? Well, we need to go through the operators. We can filter item instance of logical operator. Find first. What's the difference? I cannot recall. There's find first or find any. Why is it over there? Yeah, seriously, why is the documentation in here? Remove from sidebar. There we go. Why is that popping up over there? But no, my face is covering it. All right, so returns an optional describing so that is behavior is explicitly non-deterministic. It is free to select any element in the stream. This is allowed maximum performance parallel operation. If a stable result is required, yeah, I don't care. So find any is probably good. So if that is present, is present. Yeah, it's gonna be like, hey, you can replace this, and my face is covering it again. Any match. Oh yeah, I always forget about any match. All right, so if any of those match, meaning that we have one or more logical operators, and we can't have nested operators, deeply nested operators, unless there's at least one logical operator at the other very top, because you can't have anything under the comparison operators. So if that's the case, I can return a new complex selector. I'm going to do that. Otherwise, return a simple selector, giving it the operators. And it's really just an and at the very top. Well, let's take a look at the simple selector. This is public, and this could be some sort of list of comparison operator. I don't know if I need to do that. And then in that particular case, I could just delegate that up to the parent and just add all. Okay. That will work. We shouldn't get that null pointer exception anymore, right? Incompatible types. All right. Now it's because we changed in the simple selector. I need to figure out a better place for these. That way my face doesn't block it. But there's my simple selector. Here's my base selector. Then my complex selector. Let's put that one in there too. And my selector interface. There we go. That way I can see these a little bit easier. All right, and this is yeah, that makes sense. So in that particular case, it kind of needs to be like that. But that does mean that we would have to map these out. Can't I just cast? No. I have to stream and cast, right? There's gotta be a better way to do that. Yeah, I hate that. All right, so that's fine, but I don't really care much for this. Do I have to parameterize it? No, I didn't think so. Yeah, it's because we're not actually checking. Yeah, we're not validating that they are that type. But right now we only know of logical and comparison operators. So if it's none of them are logical, then we can assume that they're all comparison operators. All right, does that compile now? That does. Let's go ahead and run that. All right, so not all of the tests are failing. So that's good. So here, expected 1, actual 366. Nice. All right, let's figure out where the failure is. And most likely, again, this is probably because of the complex logic that's commented out up here. Can I just break off this whole group? Can I like drag that group? I know that I can drag individual editor outside. Did not mean to do that. Couldn't get it back. Trying to find the best way for the other stream. All right. All right. So I'll come back to that. We need to figure out this logic now. And it's really for the indexes, we should be only supporting the simple selectors. I mean, we can change that later, but I think for the other time being, is it find or is it search? There's the search range, and that's the normal selector, but we do need this to be a simple selector. And here's the other search. So what if I did that? Now, it's because the superclass is doing this. That way I can force it into only supporting the other simple ones. I think that might be a little bit better. And we have to figure out what to do about the all. Comparison. Yep, that's correct. Selector. There's the normal selector. There's a normal selector. Just want to make sure that we have migrated everything to the simple selector in here. Yeah. Looks correct. Oh, what is it doing? Selector. All right, so in that particular case, we can go back to the filter, and we should be able to pull all of that back in. And it's no longer a simple entry. This is going to be a simple selector. No. Yeah, operators. That's going to be comparison operators. Comparison operator of D. And we grab the path values. I thought we already did this, didn't we? So we grab all of the paths and we collect, we extract all of the other values. So we're mapping the path to the value of the current record. That makes sense. So then we grab the operator get field name, which is basically the other path. Probably should change this from field name to path. And this is going to be operator. And that is not going to ever happen because that is not the proper subclass. And it's not logical anymore. It's a compare. Or wait, we don't need logical anymore since we are not going to have that. I mean, it already is a comparison operator, so we don't have to worry about that. So we can get rid of that if statement. This is actually making it a little bit cleaner. So then if not operator test value, why isn't that working? Why is that a V? Why is that a V? Comparison. Yeah, why is that a V? Oh wait. Yeah, I'm getting all mixed up in here. This can't be of type D. I'm just gonna have it as object, right? Yeah, I got really confused in here because this is really the value of the operator, so we're going to be using the predicate to test that value. So in that particular case, in the selector, we grab the operators. That's returning a collection of O. That's correct. Ah, here it is. So this just needs to be of something. Yeah, what I am not entirely sure, so I'm just going to use a question mark. All right. And then complex operators. Yeah, I can't confuse the record type, the data, versus the value of this particular field that it's operating on. So in that particular case, it's like that. Guess I can't really do it like that. It's going to be some sort of object. I mean, I could do V for the other value, right? And that should work. Except for the fact that we're not going to know what the other V is here. Oh boy. Oh, and that's not even going to be true. Yeah, that's stupid, because that's forcing all of the operators to be of the same type. That will not work. It's just going to be of some object. You're gonna have to hope for the best. Alright, so then in that particular case, then I can do that. Alright, so then return false. Get rid of that. Don't know what to do about that one yet. All right, so then my query planner, that is not compiling right now. And that is because we do not know if it's a complex or a simple selector at this point. So I will need to rewrite the query planner, but for now, since I'm not actually testing this code, let's just return null. Oop, that didn't work. Yeah, that was incorrect. It needs to be some sort of object. Oh, I was looking at that triangle. I was thinking that was the run button. But that was not. All right. Incompatible types. Selector cannot be converted to simple selector. Why not? Oh, duh. It's because I'm trying to do this test. So let's create the selector out here and assert true selector instance of simple selector. And then we can cast. All right. That makes more sense. Because we forced indexes to only accept simple selectors. There we go. Back to normal. Yay! That was an interesting refactor. All right, so in that particular case, we need to work on the query planner now. And for that one, see, before we were assuming JS bean wrappers, I'm wondering if we should change that to be more JVM friendly. Probably. Because I would like to be able to write unit tests on some of this stuff. Because we want to be able to break apart the queries, the selectors into multiple selectors that can actually be run against a number of indexes. So in that particular case, this query planner right now is only being used package private. So that's perfectly fine. What are the uses of this? Both of these inside of the JavaScript object strategy. Okay, yeah, this can work. And it's using a find here, so we need some sort of index of some sort of object. So we could see, how's that different than the D here? See, I'm in like generic hell because I can't remember which what these are representing. I need to create some JavaDoc to remember what my parameterized types were for. So the search, that should be. Oh, I was like, why is that is not the right type? It's because I'm streaming it and mapping it. So by this point, it's a stream of the JS bean wrapper, and that search is a search of whatever D is, which is our in type. Yeah, I think that was where the confusion was, because the indexes are actually holding JavaScript objects on the Gwt client side, whereas on the JVM side, we're not serializing that data at all. So the indexes would be of one type, and we're actually going to be returning of a different type. So that could get very confusing. Which probably means that I would have to have two different generic types on the query planner. And I don't really know what to call them because it's terribly confusing. All right, so let's pull out the query planner here. Might have to do this as multiple classes. Obviously, we need to have this type something else, but for now, we can do this. I have to parameterize this a little bit. Document it. That's going to be confusing. Yeah, so in layman's terms here, on the other, we have to think in terms of the other client side. D, the data type, is really the bean type. So this would be like the person class, whereas T, which is a terrible name for this, that's the type that's actually stored in the underlying index. So like a JavaScript object. In our particular case, it's going to be the JS bean wrapper. But the search, it's going to be in terms of the bean type itself. Yeah, it's confusing, I know. But I could just go through here. I can rename these later. So JS bean wrapper. So this will be T. Oops, that'll be T. Any other JS bean wrappers in here? I'm just in JavaDoc or in commented out code. All right, cool. So now let's go to the problem. So this query planner is going to be JS bean wrapper. Don't need to do that. There we go. So that makes sure that whenever I call the query planner find, it's returning a stream of JS bean wrapper, and this is all the JavaScript side. So then I don't have to worry about how that works. Oh goodness, how do I get that editor back? How do I get that? Yeah, it's underneath here. I can't seem to command tilde to it. Yeah, I probably shouldn't do that. Now I am off. There we go. It's a little bit better. Still a little bit of white border at the other top. I guess that's always been there, because I am smack dab into the title bar. See if you can see that. Yeah. It's just off screen a little bit. All right. So yeah, in the query planner, probably need to make sure that I can always grab hold of this window. That'll work. So now I just need to break apart how this is going to work. I guess I don't need multiple classes, to be honest, since this is a private usage. I guess I don't need to worry about it too much. So let's go ahead and create a unit test for this. And I probably need some way to copy that test over. That is in the wrong package now, isn't it? No? I guess I left it in the BP tree. Yeah, so I would like to be able to create a small utility to pull this stuff out. I'm doing way too many refactorings in this one bit of test code. So package, let's do core. Yeah, I guess I don't need that, do I? I just need a new Java class, data generator, or not generator, but factory creator. I don't care, because all this is going to be doing is returning my test data. I probably need to move that. First, I need to move this into the right package. There we go. And then move this. Refactor move. And I want to move that into the core directory as well. Get rid of that. And where is this person object? This person is defined in here. So this probably needs to be pulled out as well. Because now it's not just referencing in a single class. So let's go ahead and refactor. Move inner class, move to upper level. And let's just put it in core. Yep. Ew. That's fine. I'll have to update that. That sucks. Because there's other classes here. Which means that we're gonna have to update some of this test stuff. Because we were relying upon the ability to access the fields. Get age. Get first name. There we go. And we might as well move the address. Because I think this person is relying upon address, and it is. So let's go ahead and refactor move this. Alrighty. So there's that. Let's double check the address. That is compiling. Don't know if I need to do key. Doubt it. But so my test data creator. I am basically going to do this. So public static list of person. Create people. Alright. I know I need to change that, but I will first copy everything over. Atomic Boolean, files, let's see, objects, and this is going to be test data creator. So it's going to be in the same place, and this is going to be over here now. Yeah, I know. I need to catch exception here. So let's just wrap it. And my delimiter is that guy right there. All right. All right, so I should be able to get rid of that. I can get rid of these two unused constants. That should still compile. Let's just build it just to make sure. Good to go. Let's go ahead and run. And that still executes. Cool. And the nice thing is we were able to split that off so that we would be able to come over to our brand new test, which is our query planner test, and be able to utilize the same stuff. And I'm probably going to Get rid of some of these. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that. I'll eventually need these two, but I can just ignore it for now. Get rid of that. That. Yeah, let's just clean up our workspace a little bit. It's getting a little chaotic. All right, so then the one usage is in here, and we should be able to do the same sort of thing. And I'm just doing this as a before each, only because we want to assume that we're not modifying that class or the list. So if before each, we just flush it. There we go. That way, if it ever gets modified in a test, it'll be redone before the next time around. All right, so here we're basically going to want to test our query planner. And I'm trying to figure out how we're going to test that. For now, let's just test it. There we go, success. All right, so we need to be able to execute a find. Wait a second, how did my other test work? Oh, it's because we were throwing those selectors right into the indexes and not actually using the query planner. Duh. So I am going to put this class over here just so that we have visibility of the class that we're testing with our test. This is gonna be fun. This is where we determine like a breakdown of all of the other selectors that we're going to do. And I guess this is a good opportunity for us to figure out what our API is going to be for these selectors, right? Selector. And this is of people or person. And then the class under test. Query planner. I'm just going to do person in both of these. And you'll see why here in a little bit. This is actually going to be class under test. Class under test equals new query planner. So then find. So this is where we have the multiple indexes, and that's the whole point of some of this stuff is to be able to actually do the index searches. Not only is it going to analyze the selector and break it down into the simpler parts, but we also are going to execute the queries. So we need the ID index, whatever our indexes are going to be. We'll probably change that. Oh, and this is a search. Create. Selector. All right. And we should probably just go ahead and create our indexes up here, or at least the ID index. recall how I did that. Field. Yeah, I was not consistent on those names. Here I use create, down here I use build. I think I wrote this as a note somewhere for me to get some consistency on this, but I haven't yet. Person has a get 0, get ID. Do we not have an ID on these? Oof. Oh shoot, we don't have an ID. Might as well add one, because this is a test class. I'm just going to go with a string. So in that particular case, I would probably need to have a new sequence. What is my ID generator? I guess I don't need to worry about that. And string ID. ID strategy, date, UUID, auto increment ID strategy. So I'm going to stream peak person.set ID, and this is going to be ID gen, create ID, and then collect. I guess I don't need to do that. Weird. Yeah, that's good enough. And I guess that's the other reason to flush out that list every single time, because the IDs could change. All right, so if I were to do that, in my test down here, I would like to take the ID index, new graph is the tree. Wait, I have a debugger, don't I? Debug, yeah. Does that do anything right now? Yeah, it does. Cool. Just don't call that on the client side, because that is not Gwt compatible. All right, so if I were to execute that, that will print out this, and it shows a single node. That's not right. Oh, it's because I didn't actually add the data. Do I not have an add all? I guess I don't. All right. So in that particular case, I can probably just do this. Let's create that out here. That's fine. Do I really need this person list? Maybe. So I might add it to other indexes. All right. So then here, I will also want to do ID index add person. So after setting the ID, go ahead and do that. This should actually add all 1,000 people. Yeah, that's huge. Do I have Chrome still open? Yeah, I do. This will be impossible to see. Oh, there it is. It's like, where is it? Yeah, that's very, very impossible to see because of how many nodes there are. And right now I'm just doing like a 5 maximum degrees. I do need to change that at some point, but all for my testing, I'm just leaving it as is. I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. All right, so there's my setup. I have my ID. I should be able to do a find. My indexes. I can probably do like an empty list for now. Collections, empty list. All right, so what does that do? Does that, I don't need that debug anymore. And let's go ahead and let's see our people. It's null. All right, that is exactly what we were expecting because we haven't implemented it yet. All right. So let's change this one to test simple. We'll add the more complex ones later. Might even change this to use parameterized tests. Let me go ahead and turn the captions back on. Now that it seems like I'm not dropping frames anymore, captions should work again. So anybody that's watching captions, sorry about that. I had turned them off earlier whenever I was having some internet issues, but it seems like Xfinity has resolved their issues, hopefully. All right, so that's still null. So yeah, our simple one, we just want to find all of the first names Noreen. Of course, this is going to go against all 1,000 records because of the fact that we're not going to have an index for this. All right, so this is all going to be based upon the selector. I think we don't use a search for anything else, do we? Doesn't look like, nope, that's a selector again. Wonder why I'm doing it like that. I just use the same selector. But I basically need to figure out if it's an and or an or, right? And I don't think I've created my or. Yeah, I have not created my or operator. So let's go ahead and create an or. Extends logical operator of V. And again, I still haven't figured out how we're going to do that. I mean, we could probably do something like that. I don't like that. Yeah, I hope that you can see what I'm going after here. Let's go ahead and open up operator. And here, well, this is basically where we're going to have all of those operators live, and it's going to be able to create the appropriate subclass based upon the item here. But in this particular case, kind of need some sort of method for this. Do I have an and? I do not. So static and this is going to be operator, 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 operators. That might be stupid. And the same with or. This is going to return an or, and I need to copy that constructor. Not sure how we're doing that yet. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how to do the other parts, because I'd love to be able to do something like field or I'm not entirely sure what we would want to call this, because long story short, we need to be able to send in either more ors or ands, comma separated. And this is going to basically be like greater than and so on. Maybe I'll just do EXP for expression. I don't know if I like that or not. I'm not entirely sure what to return for that. This will be some sort of comparison operator of T. Or path. And this is going to be a comparison operator. And the only thing this is doing is basically throwing the path into that operator, which I do need to change this to path instead of field name, since it can be a path. Is that good? Oh, can't do that. It needs to be an operator because I haven't overloaded this one yet. And this is basically the same sort of thing as before. So this is value, and this is, was that in selector builder? That's going to be of type T, and this is path. Same sort of situation there. So in that particular case, I don't know how ugly that is, because we're going to need to do that with ors and ands. I mean, it organizes okay. I mean, technically, because of the fact that this supports operators, I should be able to do equals some value. But in this particular case, we would need to be able to pass the path in here. So we could do that. I don't care much for that approach. Yeah, it's at least in a position where I can change it later if we wanted to. So I'm going to delete that one for now because this is a simple selector. We just want to check for first name being Noreen, and we want to be able to see the other people. And I think there's 3 Noreens, so assert equals 3 people size. And now we need to implement this. So I'm curious if I were to have one that's specifically for simple selectors, that one we can actually use simple selectors directly on the indexes. probably going to pass all of these. Not sure if that's the good approach or not. And then this is going to be a simple selector of T. All right. Since this is a simple selector, might be able to pull most of this stuff down here, uncomment that. And of course, it's not a JS bean wrapper here. It's going to be of type T. All right, so then here we're just checking to see if the indexes contain anything that matches the other paths that are provided by the selector. And if that index is present, let's ignore that. And we don't need to console log anything. We want to be able to search with that selector. Huh. And now we don't even have to do a weird cast on that. So that's good. And then otherwise, since it's not found in any index, then we need to query the ID index, basically all of the other records there. And that one we're gonna have to figure out. All right. I guess I can do that. This will have to be a simple selector. And the old selector, I don't like this approach. This is basically what I had before, because I do need to change the path, and unfortunately, that's going to cause problems in the JVM test. All right, so I've been going for an hour and a half. Run out of water. I am going to grab some water, refresh a little bit, and I will be back in about 10 minutes. Stick around. All right, I am back. Sorry about the delay. I was having to feed my cats. It is 1:30 Eastern time. Still going strong. Still have quite a bit to cover. I still believe that Colin is going to be out today from streaming, but if he ever wants to jump in, I am more than welcome to end my stream and allow him to take over, because I got plenty of stuff that I can work on for tomorrow. So for the time being, until that occurs, I do need to do a couple of things. One of them is going to be with this little prefix down here, and that is only because we need to have an all selector, which basically allows us to search all records. I do not like that. What is my normal search? So that's a good idea. I could do this in such a way that we are able to grab like a Boolean value or something. So what if we were to do a public abstract list D search all, simple selector of D selector. In this particular case, searches the index with the provided selector criteria. Forces filtering across all records. Limits records inspected by selection range within criteria. That might be a little bit easier. Create a search all. That way we can ignore the selection range. Because that's exactly what we're trying to do. We don't want to add an additional selector on here. So it'd be better if we did a search all selector. Let's see if that works. We might have some issues with that. Not entirely sure. All right, so then we need to implement that. We have one implementation, and that is in base index. We should probably do the search all here. And in this particular case, all right, so in this particular case, we basically just want to stream v stream equals tuples. Nope. Need a tree get all. Stream map tuple get value. Basically repeating what we have up there, but basically going to run this across the entire collection. So up here, we're actually checking to see if there's a particular search range. If there is a search range, we will cause the other tree to search against that. Otherwise, we just flatten the stream, and then we collect everything otherwise. All right, that could work. So, yeah. So now we need to come up here in the other find. Let's just do something stupid for now. Let's do if selector instance of simple selector return find simple, and we do the ID index. We have our indexes and we have our search or selector, but we're gonna cast it. And be done with that. Let's go ahead and see if that returns anything. Hey, and that did return, and that returned all three types that we were expecting, because we had the expected 3. If we did 4, this should fail. Only because I've seen that data before, and I knew that there were only 3 Norreens in our people list. So that's helpful. That is actually searching all records. I mean, it's going to be a little bit on the slower side. Might be nice to basically create command objects in here. So while we are analyzing the search and the selectors, because we're going to have to deeply nest, if we were to locate any that basically we would want to be able to create like an explain sort of thing, that we would be able to see which indexes did this match against, and all of that. We should be able to do that as command objects, but that's going to be a future iteration. Right now, we're just going to want to do a find on this. So that was the simple. So if we were to create another test in here, this is going to be more complex. Need to figure out a good complex query that we can do. Maybe an OR. Let's do MongoDB Compass. Let's go ahead and connect to our database that we created before. There we go. And let's see. Do we have anybody age 56? How many people? We have 12 records. So what if we did like an OR? Not right now. So if we did like an OR, and then inside of the OR, we looked at age 56, or the first name Noreen, right? So that gave us 15, which makes a lot of sense, because we had the age 56 that returned the 12 objects, and then the 3 Noreens will give us 15 objects. All right. So we need to do that. So what if we were to change our query? Obviously, we haven't even implemented the OR query yet, but let's go ahead and do a selector of a person. Selector equals selector person builder add. And this one, we can add a logical operator, which will be OR. And I actually want these. I'm going to go in my settings, imports. We have all of these different operators. Huh. Yeah, import static. There we go. I just want all of the operator ones to have a star import. Why isn't that doing that? Package to import with star. Because I always like the assertions, and all of the other Mockito static methods to be imported with the star import. Otherwise, I hate star imports. Can't I do that? Oh, there it is. There's my star import. All right, cool. All right, so if I had a star import there, now we got to figure out how to do this. Why did it remove 2 imports? That was weird. All right, so for the OR, we need operators. So we were doing 2 of them in here. We had 2 equals operators, age and first name. So the expression, I still don't like that, but we're gonna figure that one out later. 56, and then the other expression, first name, Noreen. All right. So then, if we were to do that, we have a list of people we're going to find using the ID index. I'm not going to look at any indexes right now. Search person or search. Weird that I typed in select whenever I said search. Selector. All right. Insert equals 15 people.size. So by the end of this test, we should see at least the 15 people. Obviously, this is going to fail because this doesn't handle the complex operators. Yeah, it's null. That is correct because we return null there. All right, so if the selector is instance of simple selector, we return that. Otherwise, what is it called? Logical operator. Return find complex. All right, so let's go ahead and create a find complex. And this is basically just going to copy and paste a lot of that stuff. Change the name. And this is going to be a logical operator. Or no, complex selector T. Yeah. Why did I do that? Selector. Complex selector. Maybe I should stop streaming for the day. Okay. All right, much better. All right, so return, so this one's going to be a little bit more on the other complicated side. Here, let's go ahead and have a list. We're going to have to figure that one out. How are we going to do this? So we basically have to grab this selector, and for each one of the operators, we need to check to see if it's a logical operator or a comparison operator. I wonder if I should do something a little different on this. Yeah, that's fine. Because in this particular case, I do need to be able to determine if I need to and or. Okay. See, up here it's an and, essentially. Yeah, that one's going to be a little on the other rough side. I could probably change some of this stuff out, but I think for the other time being, we need to focus solely on our test. We can increase our tests later, but otherwise we get into analysis paralysis. I'm trying my best to not do that. If operator instance of or, and the or is going to be a complex operator, but they're going to be all and, or we're going to do an intersection or a union of all of the results. Seeing that, I don't entirely know if all of the operators are going to be simple or not. Need to figure out what we're assuming here. We're also assuming an implicit and between all operators, right? Because if we have like this first one up here, if we had first name Noreen, age 30, that's going to be an implicit and between those two. We would have to explicitly add the or operator for us to assume that it was an or. All right. If it's an and, then we should be able to pass it along to the find simple, assuming that the and doesn't contain any complex selectors or logical operators. Those are really the only two that I have right now. Do I have, what are the others? Nor and not. Oh. Not. even though it's a logical query operator, it fits more like the comparison query operator. I might have to change the name of some of these. Might have to do some like a mix-in sort of approach, because I mean, technically it is a logical operator, but it's also doing a comparison. Oh, so not greater than. So this is actually a lot more complicated. So this one would have to be an operator, like a nested operator. So not equal to something, or not, be weird to do a not equal, but I guess that would be possible. We'll figure that one out whenever we come to it. If we continue this project for much longer, I think I'm going to be wrapping it up in the near future. I am not sure yet how far I want to go with this, because there's other projects that I need to get to at some point. All right. So with the, we actually had this not discussion inside. Oh, really? Yeah, that's kind of confusing. If you had a not equal, or not in, and not in, that one is that would be confusing. A not in, and a nor. Right. And I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. I don't want this to be, I don't want this to explode too far, because right now I'm having struggles just doing simple queries. Alright, so this one I am going to break out. So for example, how do you handle null values? Is not contains the opposite of contains, or doesn't? Yeah, that gets very confusing, as long as it's well documented, I guess. See, this might be weird, but it might make sense to create a new builder for each one of these, right? Yeah. All right. So let's this might be weird, but let's do this. Let's do this. So for each one of the operators inside of the OR operator, I want to do a selector create, and this is of type T. Builder, I mean. And then build. So this is a union of results. So this means that I need, probably going to do a set. Should I do a set? Probably, because no two instances should be the same. Because the ID should differ. So if we had a set of T, result equals new hash set. So then if we were to We could probably do a from operator, get operators. Select door. So we have the other builder right now, but what if we had a static D selector of D from some sort of a collection of operators. Okay. That does work. So then if I return a local variable selector, I need this to be of type T, right? How do I do that? Guess I can't do that. Extends operator. Can I do that? Oh wait. I already defined selector. That's one of the issues. All right, so then is that a complex? How am I going to do this? The purpose of a GWT database, basically, right now it's intended for driving some client-side collections. So let's say that you have a table or a select, like a drop-down that has lots and lots of records, and we need to be able to search through those. This GwtDB will basically allow you to use indexes to be able to find that in big log or big O log of n time frame, rather than having to search 5,000 plus records for a couple of your fields. Eventually it'll probably have like a offloading to a backend database. It could use like an in-browser database like IndexedDB or something like that. Similar to if you take a look at pouchdb.com. This one syncs with CouchDB, but it's all JavaScript based. Being able to basically create your indexes and stuff. I can't remember what the plugins are for the persistence. There's multiple persistences. Right now I'm only looking for in-memory collections, but eventually it could be pushed to one of the permanent storage on the browser. Right. Whatever apps would be good for a PouchDB. And with this having the ability to synchronize with a remote storage, gives extra benefits with it. Right now it's just a fun project. Learning a lot of stuff in regards to how B-tree indexes work. Of course, there's probably other storage options. I know that Colin had mentioned one. I can't remember the other name of it off the top of my head. he had told me to look at it. I looked at it a couple of times. Yeah, CQ engine. I'm trying to make sure that I have somewhat of a clean room so that I understand the stuff a little bit before trying to actually use somebody else's. But yeah, that's why I'm going to be wrapping this up within the next week or so. That way I can start moving on to... Right. Unless you are using worker threads, which what I've done so far, this should be able to be used in a worker thread. And that's something that I remember from back in the Sencha days, whenever you had like a list store or something like that that contained 5,000 plus records, and you had to do a filter or a sort or something like that. It could actually pause your browser and get that little pop-up, your script is taking too long to execute, you want to stop the script. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to alleviate. And so far, it's working out pretty well. My indexes work really, really well. So right now, I'm just trying to figure out how to break apart one of these more complex selectors with multiple logicals and comparison operators, and be able to operate at the index level with that. That's a calling question. So at the selector level, we are still assuming an and on the outside. So we kind of need a set of results here. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. This is probably something that I would want to look at a little off screen. Yeah, I haven't really been too involved in any of the release process on Gwt or Jackal. I like building stuff. Not a big fan of writing the lower level tools. Right, that's correct. All right, so then if I do an OR, this one kind of wondering how I'm going to do this. Because this one in particular, I would need to just pass it through. Ors are just going to be a little different. I may have to change this to be, instead of find complex, I may need to find on a simple operator. Because right now I'm doing it based upon selectors, which isn't entirely helpful. Yeah, that's gonna be rough. I'm not entirely sure how this is gonna pan out. So my thought process is I need to basically recursively go through this. I'm wondering if I should just create new selectors. If I create new selectors, I can easily delegate to methods that I already have. And eventually, the simple ones are going to be at the leaf. And plus an and. Yeah, that's a little bit different. Let me do and first. Because with and, we know that we're going to be joining, doing an intersection of the other results. And if this were an and here, then it's really no different than a simple query. Yeah, that's going to be my biggest problem, is I need to break apart ands and ors. And then from here, I can allow it to determine if it's a complex one or a simple. I have one just for the find. I don't even know if I need this or not. Search. What other things are in here? I can force it to use an index. That one might be a little bit more difficult. What if I had a... Yeah, what if I did this instead of a simple selector? What if I just did a selector? Then if selector instance of simple selector, return that. I can just do this. And then here, you can just return find ID index. And this is right now just unwrapping the selector from the search. And eventually the search is also going to have like a filtering kind of stuff. Wait, what is D? Did I completely get this wrong? I don't think any of this is going to work. I may have to go back to the drawing board on some of this stuff. Yeah, none of this is going to work. Yeah, I probably have exceeded my ability to concentrate on this live on stream. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap it up here, spend the rest of today trying to figure out how I can organize this. The biggest problem is with the two different parameterized types, and this is only because on the web side we are wrapping the objects, so the path for value extraction has to be different than the path on the bean itself. In all my JVM tests, I'm not doing conversions to JavaScript objects, so it's a little bit easier. But on the client side, I am. So I do need to figure out how I'm going to do that with two different parameterized types. So yeah, let me go ahead and wrap it up for the day. It's been 2.5 hours, not including any of the time that I spent earlier this morning, but I will be back tomorrow, bright and early Eastern time, and we will try to crank through this then. And I think by next week, I should be able to start some new project, and we will cover that then. All right, have a good one.